Hello everyone, and welcome to a book review for a chunker of a book, Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This was published this year in 2023, and this is part of the series of Roots of Chaos. This is book number 0 because it is the prequel, at least according to Goodreads. And then you have Priory of the Orange Tree, and there is going to be another one according to Samantha Shannon, but it'll probably be several years before it comes out because she's working on other stuff. I'm going to put this book down and I'm going to insert an image of the book because this is heavy. This book, so this was published by Bloomsbury Publishing, and there is a map on the inside, 3 maps. So and then the other map is. So we have a couple of maps. This edition, as you can see, is the hardback. So yes, I am not going to hold that up because that is heavy. This edition is over 800 pages. It goes into, so 846 pages. After that, it says the persons of the tale. So it talks about the storytellers, and it gives just a little snippet of, like, one of the characters' name is Wolf. So it talks about them a little bit, that he's the adopted son of Lord Edric, etc. So there's a couple of pages about all the various characters. You have the storytellers, and then you have characters from the east, the north, and then it talks about deceased and historical characters of each side, the south and the west. And then it has a list of non-human main characters, and then it goes into a glossary. So and then there's a timeline, and then acknowledgements. So this particular book is 868 pages, but the actual story is 846 pages. So, A Day of Fallen Night. As I said, this is the prequel to the Roots of Chaos series. The only other book out right now, which was published before this one, is Priory of the Orange Tree, and there will be a second book out, or technically a third, but the official book number 2, according to Samantha Shannon, but she's working on other stuff right now, but she does want to delve back into this. So there is an audiobook version available. I did listen along to the audiobook while I read the book. The audiobook is narrated by, and I listened via Audible. The audiobook is narrated by Ellie Kendrick, Sheila Ateem, Thorin Ferguson, Hanako Footman, Sarah El-Arifi, I know I'm saying some of these names wrong, and I apologize, and Samantha Shannon actually narrates one of the voices. Do I know which voice Samantha Shannon narrates? No, because I don't know what she sounds like, so I don't know which one she did. The audiobook on standard one-time speed is 38 hours and 48 minutes. So we are following the perspective of Unora, Sabran, Esbar, Dumai, Glorian, and Wolf. So 5 POVs. These are told in, I want to say it's all third person. Yeah, because Sabran did this. I don't see anything that's like I, so it's third person. But yeah. Now, so this one, you get a little bit more of a backstory as far as how the group that takes care of the orange tree, so the Priory of the Orange Tree, how they were established and came to be known what we know it from the Priory of the Orange Tree book. So you have a bit more of a backstory and a little bit leading up to it. And you do have a female-female relationship. You also have a male-male, although one of them, I'm not 100% positive. Well, there is a male-male relationship in it, but I don't know if the character is gay or if he's bi. It doesn't say it. It's just, and that's one thing I like about the LGBT representation in it. It's just there, like life. you have people surrounding you that are lesbian, gay, bi, whatever it is that they are just there and they exist just like you do. And that's when I think Samantha Shannon does a great job with integrating the different things like that in her book. It just makes it very natural like that. So the other thing that you're following is, so in the Priory of the Orange Tree, you're following Queen Sabran, I want to say her name is. Now, she comes from a line where some of her ancestors are also named Sabran, so that name does come up quite a bit. And so you're learning more about her ancestors when it started the matriarchy of how the queen needs to get married and produce an heir, and the heir needs to be a queen in order to keep the dragons, the evil dragons or worms or wyverns away. And so you're getting a little bit more into that and how you're learning more about the personality of each of the previous queens, which I thought that one was really cool. And how these queens have to learn at a young age to deal with loss of someone that they love, how they have to deal with loss of freedom because they have to step up to the plate, and so they lose their carefree freedom. They have to defend their kingdom, they have to think, and all of this. And so to see that was, in my opinion, was pretty cool. I don't want to spoil anything, and at the same time it's like I want to give you a little bit more information. So I'm going to open my book, and I didn't take any notes, and so I'm starting to wonder if that's something that I should start doing. Okay, so one POV is Unora. That's the one that opens up with the prologue, and it talks about how, like, the first line is, her name was Dumai, from an ancient word for a dream that ends too soon. So Unora is escaping something and makes a deal with this dragon, and so you learn a little bit more about that. And you don't see there, I want to say there's only less than a handful of times that Unora's POV pops up. So after that, we follow Sabran, who is the queen of this particular kingdom. And I don't remember what direction she's from because it's just in the prologue, but we're following one of the Queen Sabrans, and again it's talking about how she rose to be the queen, what her mother was like, if she has a child, what her child is like, things like that. So and how she learns to be the queen and make deals that will benefit her kingdom and try to keep her people safe. Okay. And there's a lot more to this, but this is definitely one that's better for you to go in and learn all of this stuff on your own because there's so much. This is definitely one that I know I've missed a lot of stuff, and I'm going to I will honestly have a hard time telling you what this is about, at least in my opinion, because a lot of it goes over my head because it is an epic, high epic fantasy, and so there is a lot of depth to this, and this is one that I will enjoy upon a reread, and I will learn with each reread, I will learn more about the world and more about the characters. So I have just a very basic, if that, understanding of this. Another one is Esbar. It says that she is a princess of the West. Oh, Esbar, she's part of the Priory of the Orange Tree. She's part of the Priory. She is one who is in a female-female relationship at the Priory. The other big main character that we do not get a POV of, but her love is Tanuba. I think that's how it's said. So, and they both give birth to someone. You do have talk of loss of a child. Do be aware of that. That does come up, and things like that. So after the prologue, and you get a little bit of the backstory of some of these main characters that you're going to be following, then it breaks down into sections. Like this first section after the prologue is the Twilight Year, CE 509. And then it goes into like chapter 1, you're in the East. Chapter 2, you're in the West. etc. So you're more in the different provinces next, and then you're in the south, and then do we go to the north after that? Nope, back to the east. So it doesn't always follow north, south, east, west type of a thing. It does kind of jump around. And it was interesting to see how these different perspectives, that is one thing that I thought was done well. You'll jump from one perspective to another, from one province to another, but they do converge and join. And so you do see the connection that each one has and how they meet the other various characters throughout the book. One of the characters that we're following finds out that she is actually royalty. She grew up away from court, had no idea that she was royal. And as she learns more about this and finds out that she can actually talk to the dragons, that she learns that there are good and there are bad dragons. It's the same thing with people. There's good and there's bad people. There's one person she's very leery of, but you do see that she does figure out that she is actually attracted to this person. They are the same gender. This is another one of the female attractions in this, and she kind of struggles with this a little bit. And so you do see a little bit of her thought process and the turmoil that she's going through, knowing that she needs to be very leery around this person, but at the same time she's attracted to this person. One thing I will say, Samantha Shannon is not afraid to kill people off. So again, you do have a lot of talk of loss, a lot of talk of parents. You do have animal death in this as well. And it is like a mythical type creature. It's not a dragon that I'm thinking of, and I can't remember the name of it, but there is a creature that is killed off, and you do see the grief that people have because they do get attached to these creatures. You have a character in this that grew up in a certain area and wants to go out on her own and see what the world has to offer. And you see the concern and the fear that those that love this person that wants to strike out on their own have, and that they're thinking the danger that it will bring to their group. So you see a lot of that. There's one character in this that you can see that they also grew up with part of certain faith is the best word I can think of religious thinking. It's more religion to them, but it's not what we would think of today, I guess. I don't know. Maybe there are people that believe that way, but how this one person kind of is away from that particular group that believes the same way, and then starts to come up with her own theories and beliefs and thinkings, and you see how people are kind of shocked and things like that. So that was interesting to see some of that dialogue, and that's kind of all I can think of right now. Again, I do need to do a reread to get more. I mean, 846 pages is a lot of information to take in, especially when it's a dense book. There's a lot of information in this, and so I do need to reread it to get more of an understanding of it. So that's kind of pretty much what I can say with what I have as far as understanding. Now let's talk really quick about words that may come up that might sway you one way or the other if you're on the fence about this book. The word bastard comes up 8 times. Breast comes up 7. The word fuck comes up 11. God comes up once. Damn, 8. Arse, A-R-S-E, once, and then ass, A-S-S, once. Now I do know those are the same thing. It's just a pronunciation thing. So technically ass comes up twice, but once it's pronounced ass and the other pronounced arse. The other word that comes up is shite, which is another way of saying shit, and that comes up 1 time. So as far as language goes, in my opinion, it is fairly clean. Yeah, I liked seeing the friendships develop. I liked with one of the characters, there's a lot of, what word am I looking for? Leeriness towards him, because there's this bad omen or rumor surrounding this person. You find out more of the backstory of that, which that I think was one of my favorite parts, is learning more about that. Yeah, I really don't know what else to say about this. Please, 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 if you have read A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, let me know if you're able to give more insight on this to help, you know, sway people one way or the other to either say, this book's really not for me, or yeah, they'll go ahead and pick it up. You know, this is just one of those ones that, again, as I said, because it is so dense, I do need to learn more about it on a reread, because I've just had basically just skimmed the surface of the understanding of this. When will I reread it? I don't know, but I do look forward to a reread whenever it is that will happen. Who knows? But I do think I will absorb more of it upon a reread. That's the one thing about long books like this that I get nervous of, is that my understanding is just very minimal because of all the information. So sometimes it does feel like it's an information overload. It was a great time. So I don't know. Yeah, let me know. Have you only read Priory of the Orange Tree, or have you also read A Day of Fallen Night? Have you only read A Day of Fallen Night? Have you read other books by Samantha Shannon? And what is your favorite book by Samantha Shannon? Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.